I wanted to take a moment and speak to our pastor friends across the country. I wanted to thank you for your prayers. We are honored with the relationships that God has given to us through the years with the Spiritual Leadership Conference, through our publications, through the college ministry. And while we are not a part of a denomination or a fellowship, we certainly feel the love and the camaraderie with so many like-minded pastors across the country. Obviously, we are entering into a time that has not caught our God by surprise. And I'm thankful that we serve a sovereign God. I'm thankful that all things do work together for good to those who know Him and love Him and are called according to His purpose. And as we enter into this special Resurrection Sunday week, I'm praying that God will use you and your ministry to reach many with the gospel of Jesus Christ. That even by our very testimony, men will see Christ lifted up and be drawn to Him. We know that God uses times like this for His purposes. We read in 2 Samuel 14 and in many other places in the Scriptures where God allowed pestilences and famines to bring His people's attention back unto Himself. And so while that is not the main thrust of our message this week necessarily, I'm glad to know that God does all things well. And I want you to know that we are praying for you, that we appreciate your fellowship in the ministry. I believe it's vital that we pray for one another now more than ever. The loneliness, and yes, even sometimes discouragement, and yes, even depression can come upon a man of God during a time like this. A phone call or a text can mean so much. So let's truly be striving together during these times, and let's really realize the fact that this is not the time for unnecessary issues. This is the time to draw together, to encourage one another in the Lord. Several questions have come to me. In fact, hundreds in the last few weeks have come through our office, and I wanted to take a moment to just share my heart on a few of the pertinent subjects. First of all, I wanted to mention specifically the CARES Act. I know that there were well-meaning and even some born-again believers involved with the drafting of the CARES Act to help small businesses. Many have shared their concerns about the government's part in allowing small businesses or nonprofits like churches to receive funds and some of the red tape or potential entanglements with that. What I'm about to say is certainly not a legal opinion. I just wanted to say, to the best of my knowledge, that the guidance for this law is still being written and developed, which in the haste to make it available, the guidance was not completed. And so I would just say to the pastors who've called and to our friends that are watching, proceed with caution. Yesterday I was able to arrange for a conference call between our Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who's a good friend, and all of our friend Dr. David Gibbs. And they're beginning now to work on language that would protect our religious liberty. That's an ongoing process. And so, again, I would say proceed with caution and be aware of the fact that this is something that is worthy of our consideration and something that we should studiously follow after. And I would look to legal recommendations, including Dr. Gibbs' website at CLA. And so concerning the CARES Act, it may be a blessing, but I would simply say to watch for the guidance as it's coming out and enter into it with caution. The second major question that we've had from many pastors has been about the Lord's table. And there are many churches that observe the Lord's table even one time around the Easter season, and others of us who have it several times a year. The question has been, how are we going to go about observing the Lord's table? Because some have established the Friday before or the Sunday of as the time every year to remember, and now they're unable to do so. My personal preference in this particular moment is to not observe the Lord's table during this resurrection season. Many are doing it electronically, and I'm not here to say that's right or wrong. I'm just simply saying when I consider the biblical text of the assembly, I'm just drawn towards the idea of waiting until we can physically assemble back. and we will certainly celebrate the death, burial, and resurrection all next weekend, as will you, but we'll wait until a later time to serve our people the Lord's table. And wanted to just answer that question, which came in quite often this past week. We have had hundreds of questions about live stream, everything from equipment to format to various different technical and philosophical questions as well. I just simply want to say this concerning live stream. Whether you're doing your live stream from a simple laptop or whether you have tons of high-tech equipment, the most important thing is that you are authentically preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is not a time to show people how innovative we can be, how adaptive we can be. In fact, people don't need to see us at all during this time. They need to see Christ high and lifted up. And Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto myself. And I just want to encourage you to just preach the gospel and let the Lord use the power of the gospel to make the difference in the lives of unsafe people. We're praying here at Lancaster Baptist that we'll see 50 people saved on Resurrection Sunday as they respond to the live stream services. That's our heart's goal. And not minimizing technology or some of the special things we can do, but just simply saying there's nothing more powerful than the gospel itself. And then some have asked with respect to some of the resources that we've been offering. I do want to reiterate that we have a number of free resources through Striving Together Publications. If you have not received them, we have free slides. We're happy to send those to you. You can visit strivingtogetherpublications.com or you can call our staff, and we're happy to provide any Easter graphics that you might want to use for your Easter services. Additionally, through West Coast Baptist College, we're now offering a free course on apologetics taught by Dr. Mike Lester and Brother Toby England. Two of the great up-and-coming teachers in our country today have teamed together to teach us how to defend the faith, and especially a lot of the laymen, a lot of assistant pastors are taking this. In fact, in the first week, over 2,000 people jumped on board. For those that are looking at this time to enhance their education, you can take this class for free. If you want to continue on and take classes for credit to earn an accredited undergraduate or graduate degree, we'll allow the first class to go toward that credit. So it's a great time to take advantage of the quality education that's available through West Coast Baptist College online. Finally, as many of you know, we had a great conference planned this spring in the Philippines, Spiritual Leadership Asia. It was postponed because at that time COVID-19 was in Asia. Then we had an amazing event planned in the Palm Desert area, which was scheduled to be in June and has now been postponed or canceled because of COVID-19 in America. And so at this time, we're looking to a future date, maybe later in the fall, to do a roundtable online at the very minimum. For those of you that have called and asked about leadership training, we'll let you know just as soon as we can see the right time for that. In the meantime, there are a tremendous amount of opportunities at lancasterbaptist.org to log into previous conferences for continued learning and for tremendous preaching that will be a blessing to your heart. And so from the Lancaster Baptist Church, West Coast Baptist College, Striving Together Publications, I just wanted to say we're praying for you, we're standing with you, we're thankful for each and every one of you. And it is our desire to join with you in lifting up Christ. Let's not forget that there are so many good people that have been affected, pastors that have been affected. Christian Torres in Riverside, one of the graduates of West Coast, and I think of Brother Kenny Baldwin and Tony Shirley and many pastors struggling and battling against COVID-19. Please pray for them and pray for the lost that are struggling and that without Christ face an eternity apart from Christ. And so I believe there are many opportunities for us to be the church. We may not be able to assemble right now, but we can pray and we can give and we can serve and we can love. And let us strive together to that end during this special week. God bless you. Thank you for all that you do. We're praying for you.